Okay, so you may believe, as culture really has led us to believe, that vaping relieves anxiety. Now, the goal of this isn't for me to control you or manipulate or tell you what to think, to tell you vaping's good, it's bad, it's you should do it, you shouldn't do it. It's really just for me to give you information and for you to explore your own views and just come to your own conclusions. I want to help you get rid of anything in your life that isn't serving the highest version of yourself. And you're watching this right now because you have right now some limiting beliefs that vaping is helping with your anxiety. You'll probably discover that these ideas that you have were based on a shaky ground if you really start to question them. So, to begin with, we'll just get this out of the way. I'm not a medical professional, a licensed therapist, or anything like that. I just have my own coaching experience, having coached dozens of people, and I have my own life experience to base this off, right? I served in the U.S. Marines for 4 years, and I have 10 years of experience as a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. So let's dive into it. First, we're just going to talk about a brief history of addiction. Okay, so in the simplest words possible, anxiety results from an addiction to something that the body needs in order to function. Therefore, your body produces worry when it gets reliant on something and lacks it. That's where we witness the debunking of this anxiety myth. This is the origin of the anxiety myth as a whole. Okay, well, Brian, it does help with my anxiety. Well, yes, there is some truth to that. So reintroducing the chemical into the body after use helps in the relief of anxiety. But still, it just relieves the worry that the addiction causes. For example, when you hit a vape because you're anxious, the anxiety you experience is anxiety from your drug addiction. I remember times at work, which, by the way, I've been in sales the last 3 years for my day job, and I work from home. And so I would be on the phone, and let's just say I get a harsh rejection, such as being told to fuck off or lose a number. I felt like I needed that vape to help me calm down. So I would rip it like my life depended on it, only to feel so buzzed at times I got lightheaded. I'm sure you can relate to that. But instead of just being able to acknowledge my feelings, sit with them, and allow them to pass without passing judgment or using any external source to cope. So let's assume you had anxiety before you began vaping. It's something that we may all struggle with sometimes. It's a very normal feeling, right? It's simply just a feeling. It's neither good nor negative. It's acceptable to have some discomfort in life, guys. But just keep in mind that, our thoughts create emotions, which lead to actions and then drive results. That means that if you have anxiety and you think nicotine relieves it, vaping will always be your go-to. And this is why it's very critical to question your own beliefs. Otherwise, you're just going to continue to repeat the same pattern of using vaping to try and relieve stress and anxiety. But in reality, all you're doing is just easing your drug addiction's anxiety. All you're doing is easing your drug addiction's anxiety. Nicotine only relieves anxiety that has already been generated. So because of the constant building of your tolerance, drug addiction causes a lot of anxiety in your life as a whole, which you are then unable to control as you descend into this black hole of misery over and over. You just stay stuck. Okay, now think back on how anxious you become when you aren't able to hit that vape. Imagine you aren't able to hit your vape all day because maybe you're at work conference or you're at a trade show or you're seeing a client or you just don't have it with you, something like that, right? I recall this one time literally making a deliberate decision not to bring my vape along a 3-day business trip, since it was just one of those times that I attempted to quit using willpower. It's like 9:30 in the morning and I'm sitting there trying not to nod off, pass out, because I'm so used to hitting my vape and being stimulated all day on caffeine, nicotine, you name it. Literally just stimulated, energized throughout the day, high on nicotine, high on stimulants. And even if I wasn't carrying my vape, I can still feel like how much I missed it. I also felt ashamed of myself since I was still a prisoner to this. On top of this, I already had certain ingrained subconscious beliefs about myself that made me feel like this isn't who I am. This isn't me as a personal trainer and a wellness coach. Like, what am I doing? But I digress. But I was very nervous about not having my vape on me for the business trip. And I was always thinking about how, man, I can't wait till I get back to go get a new vape from the store. So like, just think about that sensation you get when you attempt to use your vape, right? And literally nothing happens. You glance down and you see the light flashing and you instantly feel like this anxiety rush over you. Your heart drops, right? Oh my God, I'm out of my vape's out. My vape's shot. I got to get a new one. You got to jump in your car, go to the vape store, grab a new one. You rip it like your life depends on it. As soon as you take it out of the pack and remove that little sticker thing, again, a little bit of anxiety is perfectly natural, guys. And it should not be considered abnormal. That's the thing. We think that we have to self-soothe, like we shouldn't feel this way. Now, I'm not referring to extreme anxiety with a clinical diagnosis. Now, when you turn to like an outside source of alcohol, food, nicotine, pornography, just to mention a few of the big ones, your brain is being told by you that in order to address these feelings, you need to do something different. So simply sitting with and feeling anxiety is the best approach to cope with it. You don't need that vape or anything else to assist you with it. So a little backstory on myself. I was a very anxious kid for most of my life. I'm 32 now, and it wasn't until I was about 22 that I became much more confident when I started working out, things of that nature. Went in the military, and I was using nicotine for about 6 years, and it wasn't just until recently that I noticed when I quit for good that it really, helped me overall. It took away a lot of my anxiety that I would get when I used it. I didn't realize how much it actually affected me, but when I stopped using it, I became a much calmer person. But I stopped for good using nicotine about 5 months ago, and best decision I ever made. It's likely that you don't feel satisfied with your life if you're watching this right now. You're utilizing things from an outside source of yourself to deal with life and to escape. Giving up nicotine requires you to face your emotions without the use of a crutch, which is a big step in building the life you desire. Oh, Brian, what does nicotine have to do with creating the life I want? Glad you asked. If you are hooked to something, you will never lead an optimally fulfilling life since you are aware of your struggles, yet do no action to fix it. You will be able to seek out and welcome new and frightening experiences that may cause anxiety if you had developed good coping mechanisms for your emotions. Say maybe you work in sales like me and you've developed more resilience to cold calling. If not, in general, just freeing yourself of the addiction is going to give you more motivation to start the company or go to the gym. Maybe it's going to help you feel less nervous about going up to that girl that you keep seeing at the gym, talking to her, strike the conversation, work on that project. It's going to boost your self-esteem. It's going to give you more confidence overall, which is going to trickle into every area of your life. In general, like just developing the ability to manage your emotions is an essential first step towards realizing your ambitions. And although nicotine relieves the anxiety it causes, it doesn't help with anxiety. So the next time you get anxiety and want to take a hit from your vape pen, just sit down, tell yourself that you are experiencing anxiety while placing your hand in a comfortable spot. Take a seat in the feeling and experience the depths of it. Like just sit with the feeling and feel how it feels all over your body. Now, look, again, like if you believe that you need expert assistance for your severe anxiety, like that's perfectly okay, guys. And I strongly advise you to get support from a physician, a therapist, both, whatever you need. If you suspect that you may have clinical anxiety, there's no need to feel guilty about it. There's no need to ask for help or seek help. However, I know the majority of you who are watching this are just anxious because you're addicted to nicotine and you don't know how to manage your emotions. But now that you are aware of this, give this a try. Let me know how it goes. And if you like this video, I want you to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.